Yo, 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 what is going on, COD Familia? It is your boy BN. Today, we are going to be reacting to the second anniversary yearly game highlights and milestones that have been reached. Now, they show off some stats and numbers here that I'm at least interested to see because I think I saw something that said they might have done it around the 10th or that somebody posted on the COD Discord. So we have data pulled from the 9th and the 14th with some spots here and there. And so if we find an area that maybe is easy for us to look up some of the data that they're showing off and maybe compare, that could be cool. But I'm curious to see what numbers they show off here compared to what they did the first year. So let's go ahead and give this a watch and see what we think.
Lords and ladies, today we are celebrating the second anniversary of Call of Dragons. A journey filled with epic battles, unbreakable alliances, and memories that will last a lifetime. Over the past year, our community has grown even stronger. Now more than 15 million lords from across the globe have joined the battlefield.
15 million lords. So we've done some data on this for total lords. So let me give an example here. So we have, like, if I go to kingdoms and I have something on here that we can look at total lords, which is, I believe, our T column here. And let's see if I can do a sum up of everyone here. So the sum up I have here, at least from our 14th one, which again isn't fully up to date because there's still some kingdoms that are not the youngest ones. But even from now, it's like around 172,000, right? So I don't necessarily know if this number is indicative of the current lords that are playing. To me, this feels like it aligns a little bit more with maybe the amount of downloads, right? So if I go and I Google, right, Call of Dragons, and maybe I go to the App Store as an example, I could see, I mean, at least on my view, it says they have 500K. Maybe if they're accounting for all the current lords that are playing across all, right? Because even the total downloads, I think, was around like 9 mil or something like that, at least for what we saw on the App Store or from AppBrain. So again, maybe this is just including other regions too as well. Like, I think people said that, like, obviously China plays on a different region or servers than we do in NA. So maybe that's what that means.
Forging friendships and rivalries that transcend borders. Among them, 92,100 lords have reached the pinnacle of power by upgrading their city hall to level 25.
So I think this is something that we can look up. So this number could actually be, I think, a little bit more accurate here, because this one, even from the data that we pulled on the 14th, we can see that there's almost 45,000 CH25 lords. Again, this does not include every single kingdom. It is the majority of them. I'd say about 98, 99%. It also doesn't account for, well, maybe like 95% probably, right? Because it doesn't account for some of the newer kingdoms too as well, where even though you might only have a few, you could still have more in some of the older kingdoms. But if, again, the data that we're seeing is only from our region, so we're not seeing at minimum the China region kingdoms and what they've accomplished. So I'm imagining that the numbers they're showing are global, like truly global, worldwide, and aren't necessarily just limited to the servers that we can see, as an example, which kind of sucks because I would love to be able to see these. So I feel like this number is probably
Let's
closer,
take a look at the top, right, 10 countries with the largest.
Oh, and you could see here, it says March 10th. So that means the data that I'm looking at from the 14th and 10th will, at least for the kingdoms and servers that we have access to, right, will be decently reflective.
Number of players.
Oh, interesting. So these are the countries with the highest number of... so the thing that I would have loved for them to do here, are these concurrent players or are these just total players that have come? Part of me feels like I'm hoping this is concurrent, but maybe it just means the amount of players in the country that have downloaded the game. It would have been nice if they specifically said that. Like, here's the average concurrent players that log in every day, or the average concurrent per week or per month. Part of me feels like maybe this isn't that, and it's more of, okay, well, these are the amount of players that have downloaded the game in their respective countries the most amount, maybe. And I only say that because if you add up all the countries and you look at the fact that they probably have, you know, about 8 or 9 mil downloads, right, for Call of Dragons, and we can check real quick just by going on AppBrain. We can look, and they have, it looks like a little over 5 million. Oh, sorry, yeah, they have almost 10. So it's 9.9 million downloads. If we added up, I'm sure if we added up all the countries, maybe it's close to that. So maybe this is more like total downloads. No.
In just 2 years, our community has collectively trained an astonishing 383 billion legions.
Wow.
These mighty forces have accomplished remarkable...
What's so funny is that we've trained globally, and obviously that's not just for our servers in NA and any other servers that are also playing with us, which makes me wonder, when we did the whole global versus China event, does that mean that China's the only other region where they have separate servers and then everyone else has servers together? Okay, maybe. But if that's the case, I'd love to see what the difference is between China versus everyone else on the amount of troops trained, because let's be real, the amount of troops trained, even though that's a great high number to see, how does that play out for us when we're in KVK and you're seeing fights just not lasting that long? Part of it is because of the fact that you just don't have enough overall troops trained to go out there and fight on the field. And there's obviously other factors as well. But it would have been interesting to see them do kind of like some subcategories, even if it's just one between China and global for some of these.
feats. Darklings. Together, we have vanquished a total of 1.2 billion foes.
Yep.
Fortresses have been successfully rallied 22 million times.
Damn.
Resources.
You know what would have been cool for them to show here? Would have been how many forts are rallied. What's the average amount of fort rallies per KVK? That would have been cool.
Collectively gathered a total of 339 trillion.
Damn. What's crazy is mana isn't even the highest gathered thing. And gems seem, I don't know, maybe that is high, right? But part of me would feel like maybe mana eventually would be, I guess mana is more late game in that sense, but part of me feels like, man, maybe this should be higher than fourth. Oh.
And, of course, in epic battles against other lords where swords, arrows, and magic have clashed 565 million times over the past year.
Damn, that's a lot.
Our lords have captured and purified 86,000 mighty behemoths.
Wow.
A huge shout out.
It would have been cool if they did something such as how many total behemoths were there able to be captured, and then here's how many were. Like maybe they could have attached a percentage to it as well, but I guess that's fine.
To the alliances who achieved this in record-breaking time.
Wow. So this is interesting. So we have something here that we've done before that specifically goes to how fast behemoths have been captured. And we've shown this before, and we keep track of this in addition. But I'll need to go and compare some of these. I don't know if I have my sheet up right now for this. I actually didn't know that they were going to be showing this one. But yeah, let me see if I could pull this up. Maybe we can come back to this because this is pretty cool that they have this. Obviously, it would be nice if eventually they just went into... I mean, of course, eventually we'll just have Season 1, 2, 3, Season of Strife. I have some of these taken down for previous KVK seasons that are no longer here, right? So... obviously, it would be nice if they just did like, okay, Season 1, 2, 3, and then Season of Strife, and then you just have the 4 to go off of. But this is cool, and I also like that they gave them shout-outs. The only thing I would have liked for them to do as well would have been to shout out the kingdom number that the alliances are from. But again, it's still nice.
Not only that, but 54 million war pets have been tamed.
Wow. With
the Sapphire Phaedrake standing as the favorite, and Moonbear being the rarest of them all.
Oh, see, that's cool that they did that, where they said they gave you some numbers that kind of go towards meta trends, and what is most sought after. Again, it's broad, it's vague. It's not like they're really diving into specifically and saying, oh yeah, well, this is the war pet that's chosen the most for this pairing, right? Or this is the one that's been captured the most in the past 2 months. They're kind of giving you a general overview, but it just kind of shows you some of the detail you could go in, right? If you had a little bit, if they wanted to, I guess, in that sense.
A lot of heroes have joined the ranks of our brave warriors. To be exact, 28 million heroes were summoned, and 856,000 were fully awakened this year, ready to lead their legions to glory. Here are the most popular hero pairings.
Oh, here we go.
Season 1 is dominated by Lilia and Valen.
Oh, okay.
Followed by Syndrion
and then you get these. So see, this is cool where they show you. So what's funny is before I saw this video, and I've already talked about this on stream, and when I did the most used heroes marches, right? / hero pairings. And we did a video where we asked the top 200 players. It's funny because I actually already had this idea of doing this per season, where once this current season finishes for Rise of the Dragon, I'm going to ask the players that had that basically have fought the most or have the most amount of merits gained. And then I'll ask like whatever those top 3, 4, 500 people are, and I'll reach out to them. I'll ask them similar questions so we can look at what some of these trends are per season, because I feel like that would help a lot of players out when it comes to figuring out, okay, well, maybe I need to invest in this. Maybe I should use my resources here rather than there, because this seems to be what the meta is for this season upcoming. So people can kind of plan ahead for the future and do smart investing, smart spending, where they feel like they're really getting something quality out of it.
and Freygar leading the charge in Season 2.
Wow.
And in the newly opened Season 3, the fiercest pair is Magrat and Zeta. Now, let's celebrate the personal achievements that inspire us all. The players with the highest power levels are led by Satoru with an astonishing 1 billion power.
Ooh, hang on. I'm just curious, are these 1092? Hang on, because I have the numbers here. Is that his... Dude, so, so that's so funny. So the data they're showing here, let me see if I go, that I'm looking for my 314th. This is accurate. So they went off current power, not historical, at the time of capture. And I'm looking at my data pulled from 314. Yeah, this is accurate. That's as well.
1 billion power.
Bodhi, look at Bodhi, what up, baby?
The fearless warriors with the most units killed, striking.
Oh, yeah. This should be. Let me. What happens if I go? Yeah. Well, hang on. What happens if we do unit killed? Does it? I don't know if it messes up. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It should be chicken unknown. I have Kyle, Deben, Satoru. Okay. Yeah. And that's the order they have as well. Yeah. 411A2. Yep. Yep. These are the numbers. Same numbers I have. Wild.
Fear into the hearts of their enemies.
Yo, it's Pervy. Yo, Uncle Bob.
And the bravest of them all, those who have lost the most troops but never back down.
Yeah, dude, dead units. Oh my god, what do I have for dead units here? What I have Toxic Jason, Chief Satoru, and it should have been Soju. Oh, I see. Yeah, because a couple days had passed, but it was Anakin who was in 6. So yeah, so this is probably right. Yep, and then there's Soju, Cream, yep.
These achievements are awe-inspiring, but they were not accomplished alone. It is through unity, collaboration, and shared purpose that we achieve greatness. Here are the top 10 alliances by power. And the top killer alliances whose prowess on the battlefield is unmatched.
Yeah. I mean, probably more fair to go off merits or like average merits.
Together, we have helped each other 4 billion times and shared 58 trillion resources to aid our fellow lords. And finally, let's honor the strongest servers where legends are forged.
I'm sorry, excuse me? These are the top 10 servers with the highest power? I'm sorry, dude. How are you calculating? I mean, dude, that's a lot. That's 61 billion. There's no way. How are they doing this? That there's no way. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah. I mean, even if I did that off total kingdom power, top with the highest power. Yeah, there's no way. If I'm looking at the data here, even if we look at total kingdom power, which is for all players that have a city on the map, that accounts for all of those, and you just add up all the power. No, like the highest I have on here is like around 30, 32. Yes, I don't know where they're getting 32 and 31 from. Like, dude, this is not back when the game was released. Why are they giving us like global release numbers or something? Yeah, I don't. So I have no idea how they're factoring this one. Yeah, because yeah, there's no way that kingdoms can reach this high anymore. I mean, the last time it happened was when TFS in 23 hit 40 bill, right? But that was just due to that migration glitch error, basically, where it was uncapped, if you want to call it that. Basically, it was the uncapped season that we all know now. So you could bring in as anyone in those 300 slots as much power as you wanted. Yeah, that's a weird one. Yeah, I don't get this.
Thank you, lords and ladies, for being part of this incredible journey. Raise your banners high, for this is only the beginning. Here's to another year of glory, conquest, and unbreakable bonds. See you on the battlefield.
Okay, I'll see you there. See you as watching you. This is good. Listen, man, you guys know me. I'm always down to watch some data, watch some stats. I'm curious what some people were posting here. Top one, we want dwarves and draconian factions to play. That they said. Damn, Fluffy. Sator doesn't deserve top power, top kills. That was not earned by him. Thank you, Visa. Oh my gosh, excuse me. Lord Almighty. I'm using Fly. You can do this because she's draconian. Where only players get a castle effect. 92k of 15 mil. Maybe it's time to overthink this ratio. Yeah. No, touche. Great video. So many great memories. Yeah. Really love this game. Which one? CallofDragons. Pay. That's done, man. Let Pervy. Look, Pervy got the shout out, man. Pervy, this guy's still chasing farmers. You guys are so messed up, man. Oh my God. This is funny. All right. No, this is a good video. Like I said, I actually enjoy when they do things like this and they kind of show you, what are those yearly. Went a little bit more in depth than maybe they did on year one, from what I vaguely recall. But as I said, I'd love for them to maybe dive a little bit deeper, especially just because these are every year. Like, yeah, it's nice because they're able to show some stats that I don't even think I could show, because there's just no way for me to pull some of this data. Or I should say for us to pull some of the data. Fuzzy, really. And so, but this is nice, right? I'm curious what you guys thought on this one. Was there any things that stuck out to you? Any things I mentioned where it's like, oh yeah, that would have been nice to see a little bit more? Or things that you maybe wish they would have shown? Even if you're thinking about things they could show for year 3, right? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. It's going to do it for me. As always, until next time, we'll catch you later.